How's it going, guys? Welcome back. This is a game I played today on stream. It's a very interesting game. It's a very tough game. But the main reason I'm showcasing it is because there is so much that went wrong early that was so predictable that I wanted to make sure you guys saw a video that was somewhat similar so that you can prevent yourself from getting behind. This game here, the entire start of this game should have been extremely easy. When you verse something like Rek'Sai, they can clear AoE camps well, but one thing people don't realize is that in Season 8 jungle, there's a serious advantage for the top half. So if you're the top team, there's a massive advantage. So what I'll do is I'll pull up a little map. Okay, so this is the Summoner's Rift. Now, if you're the top team, you get the opportunity, you get the really, really big benefit of being able to start here or here. The reason for that is because the red buff has negative armor, okay? Most top laners are really good auto attackers. You'll get the odd AP top, like Kennen, but still he has a lot of AD and you can hit from afar. So it actually is quite quick to start there. Similarly, if you start the bot lane and at the blue buff, your bot lane can then help you. And you can have two champions kill the blue buff with you. So you get a really, really nice leash by starting the bot lane. Unfortunately, as soon as you cross the river, that advantage is gone because this blue buff here has plus armor. And what that means is that it effectively takes AD champions extremely long to take that blue buff compared to what it would to take this because it has negative armor. And the added benefit is you have two champions starting down here that can help you with the leash. So the reason I say that top lane has the top team has a benefit over bot teams is because we don't know where the hell most jungles start now if they're the top team because they can start here or here. Bot team, it's pretty expected that they start there, okay? So if I'm playing the bot team, I can't predict him. He can predict me, all right? So this game I'm jungle Yorick. Now I was predicting that he started here. So what I did is I went like this. And I go get top scuttle, right? So this scuttle spawns at 2 minutes exactly on the dot. And if you get a leash at your red buff and run straight up through here, you get there exactly 2 minutes on the dot. So you can get this, okay? And if you secure that, what ends up happening is if their jungle starts here, you start here. By the time he finishes and runs around to about here, you're already hitting this scuttle. Now, if you hit it away from him, he ends up following. And it'll die about up here. And he'll effectively have wasted this entire movement. And he'll have to walk back up and go get his red buff. So what it does is that kind of play style, it makes the other jungler waste his time effectively. So having to walk back up here, he loses about, what, 5 seconds of his clear speed maybe? Even more. And you gain that 5-second advantage. Because then you can think of the CS. He then has 4 CS. Oops, CS. You then have 8 CS, okay? Now, what most junglers would do in that situation is they'll take this and then rotate straight down to bot and get that, which then gives you control over the top half of the map. You can get free kills off if you want. You can go down here. You can effectively kill 4 camps in the space of time that the other jungler kills 3, and that's your advantage right there. You have an experience lead and you have a gold lead. What the bad part is that because the other jungler can start at these 2 camps, and I can only start at this camp, then what happens if they start at the red buff? Because if they start at the red buff, then what they do is they go like this, straight down to Raptors, and then they can go to Scuttle. Honestly, there's so much variation for the top lane. They can go here, straight to the top lane, then they can go get Scuttle. But there is just so many ways for them to clear. And in this game, it's funny because there's a big hole in my jungle Yorick strat, and a lot of junglers have this hole. And it's very easily abused by the top team, which is if the other jungler goes red to the top scuttle, they've left this camp and this camp wide open. And if you start red, you can go red Raptors. And then if you have some kind of ward out, by the time you path to around here, you'll get an indicator of where they are. So if they show up at the scuttle at 2 minutes exactly and you have it warded, then you know that they skipped both these camps. And you know they have red buff, so they went there to there. You can predict their pathing. And this game, on stream, I literally said, the only problem with this clear is if he gets my Raptors. And it's exactly what happens. Because what he does is, what happens that I don't realize is this is warded. So by me going red straight to the scuttle, I secured the scuttle. But at the same time, I gave him a massive advantage because he ended up doing this. Then he took scuttle, and then he went around here and took my raptors. I think that's what he did. He might have skipped this camp here. I'm not too sure. But the point is that I lost the big advantage that I needed in the form of the raptor camp. So we'll play out the video, and you'll see what ends up happening. So it's on my view. You can see what I do. So I put a ward down. Now that ward usually gives you vision of the scuttle. But it only gives you vision of the scuttle between a certain time period. And it's usually around the 2 minute. 2 to 2:10. If he takes a delayed clear and doesn't get the scuttle till about 2:15, the problem is the scuttle is over here and not here. And if he wants, he can push it this way. He can clear it without me even knowing. Okay, so that's a big hole, a big flaw. So you'll see I take this and we run straight to the top scuttle. Now, unbeknownst to myself, it's warded. Okay, so it looks like, as you can see from the camp's being cleared, I'm thinking, oh good, he must be going buff buff. And now he's going to waste his time by coming down. Unfortunately for me, he doesn't. Not only do I misplay with the Gromp and it resets and I lose a hell of a lot of time, but he also happens to get scuttle. I get my ghouls, I route down, and there he is. He jumps over my raptor camp. So now, if you count up the camps, he has now taken, whoops, he has now taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 camps. I've taken 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're dead even, okay? But the problem isn't that we're dead even. The problem is that if you think about it now, how many options do I actually have? Because this camp is gone. I only can get one more camp here, whereas he has the freedom to get any of these camps. So if it came down to a power farm, I don't get a gank off, he doesn't get a gank off. I get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I get 6 camps. Him, on the other hand, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He gets 8. Now, this is a massive disadvantage for you because what it means is that when you give away your second blue buff, especially for top team, he will still get his level 6 before I get my level 6. If you're top team and you have to give away your first blue, or your second blue, sorry, you lose out on the ability to get your level 6 on your first camp. You then have to postpone it to your second camp. So that's a big problem with this game. Now we'll play through the replay a little bit. This is a funny game outside just the early because my mid laner was extremely tilted. And I mean extremely tilted. She repeatedly died for no reason apart from her own stupidity. So we go to secure the scuttle. Now, when it comes to about this time, if you consider the jungle clear, because we knew exactly what that Rek'Sai cleared. We knew he started red because he didn't have his blue when he jumped over this wall. And your first camp will respawn, your first non-buff camp, sorry. So if you go red into raptors, it'll respawn around this time. So we can use that information to predict that he's probably going to be in this top half area around the time that we're in this top half area. So I wanted to get to scuttle before he does. And there he shows up and he gets a nice death. Okay, now we'll slow that down because I knew he was going to come for this. And remember, Rek'Sai's W only gives him notification if you're moving. So he doesn't actually know I'm in this bush. And he gets a free, easy death. So that was a really nice kill. We know that's pinked as well. But the most important thing is, she hasn't been using her advantage. But look at the CS. Like, before I got that, it was 24 to 32. That means he had killed 2 extra camps. And that really sucks. So we go back, we resort to free farming. And as I said, my mid lane is 0-3. And he's spam pinging me to help him. But in this kind of position, you don't want to go near this Aatrox. Because your mid laner has 16 CS to 41. She is not going to help you. What's more important in this type of game is identifying who is going to help you win. Now, my bot lane's just got a solo kill, right? I'm doing well. As far as I'm concerned, my win conditions this game are myself and my Lucian, okay? This Ori, this whiny pinhead that I call a mid laner, he is not relevant in this game yet, okay? So don't play around him. Only reason I'm mid is to get this farm. I don't want anything to do with this lane. So we CS the best we can. We get the raptors. And then we're going to wait here for the red to spawn. The red spawns. I don't think we hit 6 here. Yeah, we don't hit... Oh, yeah, we do. No, we do. Never mind. Okay. And now we have options. Right? So the dragon's here. So I want to get this dragon. Now, the best way you can do this... A lot of people ask me, how do you control the maiden so it goes with the blast cones? The best way to do this, right, is you got to realize that when you face a direction with Yorick, the maiden always walks behind him. Okay, so similar to the concept of the maiden shuffle, the maiden always walks 360 degrees behind where he's facing. No, 180. Well, I said 360. So what you want to do is you want to make it so that you face this way and the maiden sits here. Because as the maiden will go from here to here, she'll walk over the plant, then you hit it when she's about here, it'll knock her over the wall. This time here, I don't think it works. So you see I did that. I hit it. And she gets stuck. Like the pain she is. So then I go for this I go for the dragon. And unfortunately her team collapses. Okay? So in this kind of situation, you kind of do or die. I know I'm ahead. I know I have nice items. I do have a lot of gold, which is not good. But block out the entrance, secure the dragon. Luckily for me, my team comes up. Okay? But watch the damage of just the Yorick's E. Like, I'm not damaged Yorick yet. I'm just Yorick. So you can see how much she gets destroyed. Luckily, my team comes, and we actually benefit from this big time. Like, insanely big. This was a perfect fight for us. And there you go. So we get all these different kills, okay? So that was a really clean fight. Now, their jungle is 0-2. I'm 3-0-2. She's getting completely destroyed right now. So it's not worth recalling yet. Make sure if there is time, see that there's time. See how these guys aren't in vision. One of them's dead, the mid's dead, and the Kai'Sa is missing, but she's behind. This is time for you to punish. Take camps. Take whatever camps you can get. An even better option is to put a ward over that wall and see if it's there. I even went to go check this, but it wasn't there. So recall on the spot. Now's your time to spend. So we'll go get ourselves a Cinder Hulk. And let's rush straight up into the top half. Now, the reason I go for the Scuttle here is because being ahead of the Rek'Sai, it means I'm free to just go to absolute town on the Rek'Sai. I've got a level advantage. I have an item advantage. I am insanely big right now. So I want to put myself wherever she is putting herself. See how she comes down here? So she path, by the looks of it, she went down here to get this. If she comes down and I'm here, she has to path all the way back up. That means from here to here, that's wasted movement. She could have just as easily done this. But all of this here is wasted movement. That is really good for me. You want to make your enemy waste as much time as they can. So, I normally wouldn't give my mid to someone that's behind, but because she's actually somewhat ahead now, I'll give her the blue. But I think my Gauls get it. Yeah, they get it, which is funny. So, looking for the next possible fight is the best call. Now, I want to get the Krugs on spawn because they give so much experience, but my bot lane gets into a 2v2. Now, I want to showcase a little trick I did here, okay? Because this is a trick that the Maiden Shuffle uses, and we were trying to use it before. But people don't realize this trick actually works in this way. So, let's pause it right here, okay? So, remember, the Maiden walks 500 range behind Yorick, roughly there, okay? So if Yorick is facing this way, she stands at this location. So what happens is if I go to here, then realize I'm not going to get anything out of it, and I try to path back, what happens is the Maiden then runs to this location. So if I turn around and face this way, then that circle that I drew before becomes over here. That means the Maiden is going to walk to this circle. And the further and further I get like this, the circle then moves in. So the Maiden's going to move to there. So what will actually happen is, notice how there's a minion wave coming. If I were to walk, when's the first time I turn around? Let me just see the first time I turn around. There, okay. So you see where let's draw a circle right now from behind Yorick. Right there, right? So this Maiden is walking to this spot. If she does, she aggroes this creep and I lose her to the wave. So what you have to do here is you have to do a version of the Maiden Shuffle that normally people don't do, which is you want to constantly put Yorick's direction facing that way to keep resetting her spot to here. Because otherwise she's going to walk over to here and reset in the wave. So you'll see what ends up happening is I constantly reposition myself so I'm facing the other way. So we'll go back. We'll go back and I'll show you one more time with just a bit better freeze. So right now, let's put a circle here. The maiden's spot is right there, okay? Now let's play the game. There. So you see how I reset it? Now the circle is over here. The maiden is walking to there instead, okay? And then we'll play it. You see, I got ground by moving this way, but then I quickly face that way, which then resets the maiden to walk back over here. And by doing this, what you can do is you can prevent her from walking into the lane. And now instead of aggroing the minions, she just follows you. So that trick there is extremely valuable. That trick is absolutely insanely strong on Yorick jungle if you can learn how to do it properly. But it mainly comes down to thinking it on the spot. You need to know when that situation occurs. You need to get a grasp on when you can actually use that trick. And it will take you a long games to learn. It's just like the maiden shuffle will take you a long time to get the hand of. That will really, really, really take a lot out of you to learn. But it's very, very rewarding. So I try to get some vision out. There's nothing much you can really do in this game, sadly. We're pretty far ahead, but nothing's really going off yet. So it's kind of a pretty slow game. So what happens here, actually, I want to go back. So keep an eye on mid. So I actually see this Leona pathing through the river. I realized she was going bot. So I thought I can get myself a free kill. So I waited a little bit of time. Now, remember how I was talking about before? I was talking about how to get the maiden over with a blast comb. You want to face this direction to put the maiden here. So when you got a wall facing the back of you, even if 500 units happens to be here, the maiden will go to here because the wall basically blocks the collision of that 500 range. So instead of it being here, it becomes here, okay? So you want to face here to put the maiden there so you can blast cone her over with you, okay? So I was basically just waiting a little bit of time, waiting for the Leona, and there you go. So you see I knock her over with me, and Leona just happens to be here. And we get a nice free catch and a nice free kill. Perfect. That's exactly what we needed. That was a great play. So we're picking up these little small kills. We'll get the red buff on spawn. We'll go and get the raptors as well. This will refresh our ghouls. But we're mainly just looking for any opportunity to do whatever we want with. Now we head bot because there's nothing we can really do. I stopped her back, which is funny. But this is a pretty uneventful game for a bit. You can see they get the Rift Herald, which is really good play by them. But unfortunately, it means they left the Kaiser alone at the bottom. Leona's top. This is a free kill, so we don't even have to land any spells here. I missed all my E's, as you guys probably know. But we don't actually have to do anything. She dies easy. Very, very easy. And what do you know? I can actually showcase the maiden shuffle. So, if you don't already know, when Yorick's maiden attacks a minion or champion in a lane, it's stuck in this lane. So you see right now, where is it? Right there, okay? So the maiden has hit a champion. The lane cutoff is here. The maiden is now stuck in this lane. Now there's a creep wave right here. And there's probably a creep wave coming. You can see where the creep wave is on my team. So it's on the exact opposite side. So the maiden is now stuck in this lane, alright? You can see that clearly by the fact that she's not following me. See how she's over here? So what we can do is we can do the maiden shuffle to get her out. If you guys don't know what that is, then basically utilizing that whole she walks 500 range behind you, you want to have Yorick in a position where the maiden is following him and he's facing this way from about here. That puts the maiden right there. And then you can slowly creep this way and then quickly turn around here. And that puts the maiden increasingly further behind until she's outside the wave. So what you have to do is you have to position yourself in a way that's in front of her, walking towards the nearest attackable tower. So you see how she follows me the second I walk in front of her? So what you do, face that way. See how I'm facing this way? Now the maiden's spot is right here. Now she's going to walk to about here. And she's going to do that. Now if I put the camera on Yorick exactly, notice how that circle keeps lining up with how with where she's walking? Actually, let me put the exact circle for you. That'll be a lot easier. Sorry, I really like Epic Pen. This thing is amazing. Okay, so it's about, if I had to guess, I'd say it's about here. Right, so watch this circle line up with it. See how she keeps walking towards that location? And you can push her out of the wave like that. So now she's not in the lane anymore. Now she's considered out into the jungle area. So she will not run down or like avoid Yorick. But the second she crosses this wave or this area, she will then proceed to run down the lane again, okay? So keep that in mind, just watch your pathing. The way to reset that is to have her attack a camp, which happens to be the Scuttle Crab right now. So yeah. I have a tutorial on the main shuffle as well if you guys need to see it. It does take a bit to learn, so definitely get used to it if you can. There we go. So we get the dragon as well. This game's a pretty big stomp from here on. We'll just fast forward a bit because it gets pretty boring. How much more is there in this replay anyway? Yeah, like I said, nothing much really happens here. But it does close out pretty soon, I'm pretty sure. I finished 8-0, so it should be right now-ish. But yeah, that was a really clean game. That was a really easy game to get ahead, and it utilized a lot of those little tricks. I'm actually surprised that it had that many of those small little tricks, because that was a really good replay to showcase. I'm glad I ended up doing a commentary over it. But yeah, it's a nice way to stay ahead in the game. I died. I get a death over here, which is unfortunate. But you can see we're really far ahead. It doesn't really matter what we do. I'll take a second to talk about the build. So, we did just win. But what I've been doing is I've been rushing Cinderhulk as a way of getting tankiness. And I've been rushing 2 items that give CDR. So, Black Cleaver is one that gives tankiness and damage. And it also gives CDR. And I've been running Iceborne Gauntlet as a second. This basically takes the top lane build that, in my opinion, is strongest right now. And it brings it onto the jungle. Now, you don't have to go the Iceborne. I still think these 2 are the strongest. First 2 item rushes. But the other options that I've had is like Yomu's. That works really well as well. Even Frozen Heart. Even Spirit Visage. There's a lot of items that you can get that give CDR that can really work in this position. But this game here, I could go a bit greedy and get the Sheen effect. And even like a Sterix Gauge would have nicely followed up, closed off this item build. But anyway, that was a really good replay. I'm really happy with that game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Pop by the stream if you get a chance. We'll be streaming a bit over the next few days, at least until Yorick gets nerfed. Hopefully the nerfs don't kill him that much, but we won't know until we see. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.